Hello, I'm Jacob. Some of you watching this video may already be familiar with me, but allow me to reintroduce myself. Let's just say I'm a music critic, lyricist, and graphic designer. However, above all, I'm simply a guy who thoroughly enjoys music and loves discussing it. That's why I initiated this project called Cooking Music, to not only articulate my thoughts but also share my unique perspective with others. I've been running Cooking Music for nearly 4 years, primarily on social media platforms within China alongside my team until now. This marks my inaugural venture into starting a YouTube channel, enabling me to fulfill all the aspirations I had with Cooking Music while sharing our content on a larger platform. This is also the first time ever I've made video in full English, so I'm not a native speaker, so please bear with me if I made any mistakes along the way. Now let's get back to our business. We're going to talk about the noble art of self-destruction, the third and latest album by Welsh rock quartet Holding Absence. Well, speaking of Holding Absence, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I'm a fanboy of this band. That means I can't just sit there and simply be a passive observer while providing a completely objective comment about this album. The moment I discovered this band and listened to their music was when they released Spirit with Lost back in 2018. From that point on, I have been absolutely enamored with every single song they have released. Say if they put out something that falls below the average, I'll possibly convince myself in every attempt to still love it. Fortunately, they have consistently been releasing excellent music thus far, and it's not just me who thinks so. Numerous critics and listeners on the internet who also share the same sentiment. So, a novel art of self-destruction serves as the combination of their album trilogy. If I had to use one word to describe these three instruments, the subtitle would be brooding. The greatest mistake? Warm, of course. And after I appreciate this new offering from Stem Stern, the most fitting word I found it for it would be vivid. I wonder if you think alike when combining the listening experience with visuals presenting in these three albums. So for this album, the band has opted to incorporate the kintsugi art from Japan. Kintsugi is a technique used to repair broken pottery by delicately mending the fractured part with lacquer dusty or blending with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. This art form serves as visual motif and metaphor throughout the entire album. In simple terms, the album reveals a personal journey of an individual navigating through hardships, grappling with self-destructive pressures. It signifies that, in midst of bruises and brokenness, there exists the possibility of discovering something truly beautiful in life. Starting with a distant echo emanating from the vocalist Lucas Woodland, the opener, Head Prison Blues, unveils this fresh album. The seamless transition from intro to the solid verse feels akin to witnessing a black and white image gradually being filled with vibrant colors. So this kind of vividness is just embodied in the very first year I gave to this album. Accompanied by instruments brimming with momentum and a touch of vintage flair, Mr. Woodland delivers ear-catching melody as he candidly confesses his struggles with self-denial and powerlessness. Next up is the Cooking Melody, which happens to be the first single released prior to the album's launch. This song encapsulates everything that defines Holding Absence, like the immersive ambience created by beat reverbs, the atmospheric strings that enhance the mood, and powerful yet melodious guitar riffs that captivate, and of course, a flawlessly crafted sing-along chorus to get lost in. It continues the tone of its predecessor, where Lucas sings about denial and overwhelming guilt that ensues. Moving to the third track of the album, Force Down, where gritty with a relatively pop-oriented sound, the spotlight shines on Lucas' vocal performance, complemented by an irresistible hook in the chorus. Asher Green's strong sense drumming is nothing short of fantastic, igniting a sense of passion and energy within the listeners. If your device supports gapless playback, you're in for a chance to fully appreciate the album. One particular aspect I adore is that the band's clever design of seamlessly connecting certain songs together. For instance, the Force Down and its successor, Caesars. This one is flawlessly executed, allowing the latter to effortlessly carry forward the energy that the former left behind as a conclusion. Another aspect I favor about the song is the presence of 2000s emo pop, or you can say more screamo, guitar riffs carried forward by Scott Carey. Actually, the whole album carries like a nostalgic 2000s vibe, but it was intentionally crafted by the band to evoke an analog atmosphere. This was confirmed by the band themselves during an in-store release event back in Leeds a few weeks ago, where a friend of mine who had the opportunity to ask them about it. As someone who grew up listening to stuff like McCam and Something, man, this is exactly what I expected. Luckily, the song holds more surprises in store. It features a breakdown that, while not overly powerful, effectively captures a swirl of emotions. It truly tugs at heartstrings when Lucas repeatedly screams that I'm so sick of myself. After delivering 4 heartbreak anthems, the band takes a moment to slow down and temper the overflowing sadness, although it may still persist beneath the surface. They conclude the first half of the album with a ballad titled Honeymoon. Drawing inspiration from Deftones and Pieces, the song is held by the band perhaps the most beautiful Holy Episode song to date, and I must agree with them on that. Personally, I found it, possibly one of the most touching love songs within the emo or alternative scenes thus far. Alongside the acoustic guitar playing offered by Scott and Lucas' euphonic vocal therapy, the track is devoid of negativity, allowing the listener to fully immerse themselves in the heartfelt longing expressed in the lyrics. The second half of the album kicks off with another banger, Death Anonymous, which has garnered praise from many of my friends who have listened to the album. While it's challenging for me to determine the best song, this particular track has earned more replays since my initial listen. Once again, the influence of 2000s emo or rock is prominent in the arrangement of this song. The lead guitar line beautifully enhances the cohesiveness of the track while adding a heightened emotional impact to the audience experience. The build-up at the end of the song is a stroke of genius to me. The gradual uplifting of Thor chant is fucking captivating, as if the band is infusing a surge of emotional energy to the listeners. Just can you feel it? Can you feel the energy inside? While her wings might not be so flowering compared to the last song, it presents the most beautiful lyrics in the entire record. Just waiting to turn cold, but your love is a dying inferno. You're starting to touch, but still I couldn't get enough. 'Cause there's warmth to be found in fire. Throw me on the funeral pyre and hang me out to dry. Somewhere that I know she'll find me. Okay, you're a fucking genius, Lucas William. Where did you learn to write unbelievable, splendid lyrics? I know it might be one of the most poignant songs in this entire record because it's actually a love letter to death itself, but old Mr. Woodland here has made it poetry, leaving me deeply as intoxicated while, rendering the concept of sadness obsolete. However, it would be remiss to not acknowledge the song's brilliance from a music standpoint. The rhythmic foundation, expertly fashioned by Green's steady drumming and Benjamin Arias' stunning bass line, has seamlessly woven together every element, resulting in a remarkably cohesive and immersive listening experience. The subsequent song These New Dreams takes the form of a semi-ballad. It gracefully begins with a melodious piano introduction, enveloping the track with a gentle ambience that persists throughout its duration. At this junction, the album's protagonist begins to experience a self-accusation, reflecting upon negative thoughts that have permeated the course of the album thus far. However, following his internal reproach, a transformative shift has occurred as the protagonist seeks to absorb himself and embrace the hope of a brighter future. The penultimate song, Liminal, arrives with a radio instrumental arrangement that inherits the enlightened nature and brightness of the preceding track. On this occasion, Lucas' singing exudes an increased energy and vitality while simultaneously unveiling a theme of isolation. Because moving on is just not an easy thing to do. It's a lengthy process of battling dark thoughts while striving to embrace the light of life. Finally, we arrive at the grand finale, The Angel in Marble. Undoubtedly, I cannot conceive a more fitting conclusion to this album. The 6-minute track carries a significant weight not only in terms of its duration but also in the emotions it concentrates and encapsulates. After traversing a journey of self-denial, struggle, and brokenness, the protagonist ultimately embraced the profound truth that there's a sacrifice for growth. The metaphor of Kinsuke is prominent, presenting in the lyric, serving as a sublime embodiment of the album's core essence, discovering beauty within the process of self-destruction. I really love the design of how many guitar and strings build up in the midst of a song, evoking a vivid imagery where the protagonist, akin to a sculpture, is completely shattered into pieces, only to be met with a divine illumination that gradually orchestrates its reconstruction. It is a breathtaking moment that symbolizes the transformative power of resilience and inner strength. If you have stayed with this video without fast forwarding until now, I am truly grateful. Thank you for patiently enduring my enthusiastic rambling about this album. I have just such a deep affection for the album that I want to put out every single song in it and share it to you guys. All in all, I consider the novel art of Self-Destruction is a perfect combination of the trilogy and by far the quartet's finest, F-I-N-E-S-T, finest album. It's full of emotions and love, not to mention the retro yet still holding absent flavor, marvelous instruments. But then again, it's just my opinion. If you don't like this album, I totally understand and hope we can disagree respectfully. If you like this video, you can subscribe to this channel and I welcome you to explore all contents on these platforms. Let's see you next time if there's next time. Bye.
Held me together when I wanted to let go. I'm a kintsugi sculpture and I needed to be known.